Alright, the default A-exec smokes. We'll start with stairs. You jump up on here, in the middle of this. You look for this gap and you aim right in the middle of it. Left click throw. The jungle slash cross smoke, you line up in the middle of this pillar. And you're going to aim at this piece of brick. And just above this corner. About halfway up, but actually just a bit over halfway. Left click throw. Going just over halfway closes this gap a little bit more than going halfway does. And for throwing CT, you line up with this back pole and you find this dark brick corner, jump throw. That'll smoke CT. Notice that this smokes this whole part of this box here because it's more to the left. So that keeps people from being able to jump up here and easily see all of sight. I used to throw a smoke that would land too far to the right and people would jump up on there. And it would give them kind of like a one-way when they were standing here. So watch out for that. 2 more ways to smoke CT. Here. You look for this stick where it meets the wall, aim about halfway, jump throw. And also you can go on this this corner face, right here in the middle. Just aim just to the right of the end of the stick there, jump throw. When your team is rushing out, it's always a good idea to throw a Molotov over here. That way, when you got your cross smoke up, any CT that's getting aggressive, trying to push through this smoke, he'll be in a Molotov and he can't easily take a gunfight. Alright, if you make it to Tetris in this corner, 3 smokes you can do. 1 for jungle, you line up with this wooden stick and in the middle of this opening, just left click. If you want to smoke the cross for sight, you aim up with this nub here and you go all the way up until it meets the shadow, like this. If you aim right on the line, it'll leave a little gap on the jungle side. If you go just a hair down, it'll help cover the gap. One more smoke from here. If you get in the corner, you can smoke off CT by aiming at this joint and then halfway up this block. Jump throw. If you want a good palace pop flash, you line up with the left, or with the this edge here, and you aim left of this crack, about halfway between this wall and that crack. And that'll blind anybody looking at palace from CT, and stairs of course, and pretty much anywhere else. If you're attacking A site and you want to blind the opera that's holding jungle, line up here at Tetris, aim at this corner right here, left click throw. That'll blind anybody sitting here with an op, double scoped in even. And it's wide enough that someone peeking at the stairs here also gets blinded. Very popular pop flash for A is the lamp flash. You get in line with this left side of this door here. Aim at the top of the lamp, left click throw. That'll pop right over there, which is good for pushing, especially if you're palace popping, because your teammates won't get blinded by that. A good palace pop flash, if you line up in the center of this middle pillar, middle of this flat wall where it meets the dark bit on the ceiling, run forward until around when you're about to meet this. It'll pop right down here and blind anybody that's playing underneath Belk. If you're stuck in Tetris and you want to flame out Default, Ninja, and Firebox, look for the middle of this section here around the height of this smudge. Left click. If you want a Molly sandwich, get in here. Line up on the edge of this. Follow this texture up until this dot, and then left click throw. Alright, so if you want to molly underneath balcony on a rush, aim at the top left of this sign and run and throw. Also works for a nade. That'll get everybody there. The molly from apps, if you want to molly underneath the balcony, when they have this smoked off, you line up in this corner, bottom corner of this, run yourself into here, and use left click throw. That'll land in there and burn anybody out. If you're in Palace for a post plant, get in this corner, and the bomb is planted default. You look for this dot and click on the very edge of this door frame. That'll burn them out. My favorite that I throw is window. So you stand in here. This is 128 tick. You aim at this center of this square panel here. You have to hold right for a couple seconds, or like half a second or so. It's kind of a feeling thing. Then you jump throw, and that'll land inside window. Really good for if the opera is always there. To smoke top mid, get on this garbage can and aim at the rightmost long part here. That'll give you a nice smoke to cross out mid without window seeing you. If you want to smoke cat from top boxes, get in here, aim at the end of this antenna. To smoke off top connector from T-spawn, you jump up here, get in this corner of the fence, aim at the bottom center of this, I guess it's a, I don't know what that is. It's not a chimney, but aim here, jump throw. You can also do this in mid by coming right here, getting in this corner, aiming at the end of this antenna, jump throw. From this corner, you can smoke off con. It'll land on the steps so that nobody can look over it when you guys are rushing up cat. Aim at the bottom center of this rug, jump throw. You can just barely see over it, I guess, but blocks most of the line of sight. If you're stuck behind the boxes here and there's someone watching you from window, you can smoke out by standing in this corner, lining up with the top of this cardboard corner and this antenna. Here, just left click throw. That'll smoke window. Alternatively, you can get into this notch here, aim at this like thicker nub on the antenna, walk back a little bit, left click throw. I guess you don't walk back that far. There we go. I usually throw this one because there's no variability in the walking. But then if you wanted to molly window instead, you could do the same thing with a Molotov. If you're trying to push cat, a good flash to know is to aim at the white in the corner of this this kind of shape that's formed here, and then running through it as you're passing this lamp. That'll bounce off here, it'll flash right here, and the timing is such that it'll pop as you're swinging right here, which is the last moment before the guy in ladder room will see you. So it'll blind him just before you come around the corner, and then of course you can swing the ladder room angle and this angle, and anybody looking from here will be blind. Another good one is to flash a site so that you can run up cat. You stand in this corner here, and in line with the center of these windows here and the top of this, left click throw. That'll partially blind somebody standing on top of ticket, but it'll do a couple second blind on anybody holding from here and anybody holding from here. If you want to flash con from top mid, you get in this corner. There's this kind of downward chevron looking thing. You go to the top right corner of that, and then you go inwards to the post, not quite to this white bit right around here. And that'll pop in con so that anybody looking underpass will get blinded. And anybody standing here, if they're not too ducked into the corner, then they'll also get blinded. As well as anybody looking at con. from deeper into A site. If you want to push under, you can right-click a flash as you run down. You want to aim at the middle of this door frame here, and right before you touch this middle platform, you let go. It'll pop right here, and that'll block most of the flash from you, just in time for you to swing. If you're trying to take mid and you want some pop flashes, line up here on the wall, aim at the top of this antenna, left-click throw. Or if you're wanting to peek yourself, you can aim at the top of these windows while you're running up. This will pop on the other side of the boxes. So you can flash like that. If you're in mid and you want to molly that spot right there in connector, you line up with the edge of this polygon, pull out your Molotov, look at this line leading up to the roof, right here, left click. Attacking. You can throw a flash. If you run in sideways, gotta kind of aim like here. There we go. It's a little tricky and touchy, but once you get the hang of it, you can get the flash out the window like so. When you are running apps, Molotoving this, you want to bounce it off of there. You don't want to do it too low, because it'll only, like sometimes you can get it stuck in the barrel. You want to have it bounce so it lands out here. So that'll get the most area and keep guys from sitting van. If you want to smoke window and door, you can do it from this corner right here. Window, you follow this dark angle and right at the tip, jump throw. For door, you look at these windows and you go right in the middle of the third one, jump throw. That one goes into window. This one skips right past the door a little bit and pops right here, completely blocking it off. If you want to smoke off the guy that's playing jail all the time, you go here, aim at the corner of this, single left click throw. That'll land right there, and anyone playing bench or jail will have to reposition to be able to see apps. Alright, if you want to get left, you line up underneath this lamp. And it's kind of tricky to explain this, but you line up where it meets this bottom corner and the vertical spot of this splooge here. Right there and right there. Left click throw. That'll bounce off of this twice and then land get left. The key thing about this smoke being that nobody can peek through this gap. Sometimes you can hit this. If you don't get it right, it'll be this way too far, and people can peer through here, and they'll have an angle on you when you push around this corner. Short is a little bit easier. You line up on the window frame here, and then where this antenna and this roof meet, you aim halfway, left click, and that'll be a perfect get right smoke. That keeps anybody from peeking apps from here, unless they're really far back. They can kind of see over, but it definitely keeps this guy from seeing anything. Now, if you've already taken the site and you want to smoke off door from van, you can do so by standing in this corner, aiming at the like the centermost point of this face on this wall here, clicking. That'll skip into the door, block it off for you. Now, if you wanted to smoke window from default, say you just finished planting or something, put your crosshair in the center of this kind of like heart-shaped splooge on the wall and jump throw. That lands right on the window frame. To flash off the guys in arch, like holding with an op from the corner, you can line up here, or roughly stand here. It's not super exact. And then where this top wire meets this wall, you go out just a little bit so your flash doesn't hit it, and then you left click throw. That'll pop over there, which will be in the line of sight of somebody holding window from here, and anywhere up here on this wall in cat. Then when you're running in, you aim right here, running jump throw, anytime before you reach this pillar. That'll be the flash to blind anybody in bench or on van. A good flash to do before you swing sight here, to maybe flash off an opper that's at bench. You can stand here and just bounce it off the bottom of this roof. It'll be concealed from his vision for most of its flight due to this arch here, and it'll just pop down in his vision, and it won't do a super stun on him when he's this far away, but it'll at least stun him a little bit so you can swing and maybe get a chance to have him miss a shot. If you're rushing B and you have a spare flash, you can do this flash off of this back wall here in van. That'll pop out here, and it'll add some extra blindness to anybody playing in bench where they're visible, and also playing from sight. Plus, it's far enough in that unless your team is right up here, your team won't get blinded by it. If you're in apps and you want to molly bench, you slide forward until you get to these steps, in line with this right side of the door frame. Aim at the middle of the opening in the window at the bottom of the orange tarp. Run forward. That'll molly that, and it'll also spread to the guy in jail, so he'll probably move. If you want to molly get right from apps, get into the corner of this chair, where this window frame meets this bar that's underneath the green tarp. Running throw. That'll burn out all of that. If you're in van and you want to molly off the opper that is probably watching from market, aim at the right of this antenna here and left click. That'll molly that off so that he cannot peek. If you want to do window from the same spot instead, aim at the top of this satellite dish. If you're anchoring, you want to know this one, aim at the right or left corner of this shadow, left click throw. That'll smoke the doorway like that. When you're jumping to peek apps, you don't want to jump here and go down, because it gives them a lot of time to shoot you, especially if they have an op. Higher ranked players will be able to hit that, so you want to jump from here and go this way. You're visible for less time, and you still get the info. If you jump up here and you see them running, you can bounce one off the wall here. That'll burn people trying to jump through the window and trying to exit. Alternatively, if they keep smoking that off, you can molly here, so that when they try to jump out, they're jumping into fire, and if they try to pull out a smoke there, you can kill them with your gun. When you're on cat, good flashes to know are if your opper is in like an op duel, you can offer to flash over con for them and tell them not to look, and then you just throw like that. That'll pop over here. Your guy in con, if he's peeking, won't get blinded. But it's higher up through mid, so that their opper will get at least partially blinded, and in that timing, your opper can swing and try to get a shot off. Alternatively, you can come into here. I think it's at the height of this antenna, and if you run a little bit, it's even better. Yeah. Keep it nice and high and out of the way so that your opper can sit here and look, and you can get all the nice flash assists on mid. If they push your opper off of window and you can't peek anymore, but you still want to get info on if they're con, you can play in ladder room and such, but you should smoke like this, so that cuts off their line of sight to chair, and then you can hold in here and look for bench or under window and stuff like that. When you're cat, of course, you're listening into apps to see if anybody's running. If they are, you can throw a molly like this off the window, and you can follow it up with a nade like this. One handy smoke to know from spawn, if you want to get aggressive in apps, is as you run down here, you can pull your nade back. When you're passing this door, there's kind of a pretty big window to hit, but as you pass this door roughly, staying left, maybe on this shadow area, you aim just on the tip of this piece of wood, and then you jump throw as you run past. What that'll do is it'll ricochet down here and block off apps. So that'll deter most Ts from pushing, but some Ts will push through here and then try to play cheeky in here when you try to push. So what you can do, you can jump up into apps, throw a molly like this. That'll keep them from peeking. And as the molly's about to fade, you just right hand a flash here. And usually blind them and get a kill. Alternatively, if you know that they're going to be in there, you can molly like this deep. That'll push them into kitchen. Then you can stand here and aim in the middle. And spraying through there with an AK will do a lot of damage to somebody that's crouching in kitchen here. If you're trying to spam apps, you can do it from pillar here. Aim at the bottom right corner. That'll put a bunch of bullets through at about head level as they come through here. You can get a free kill with that every once in a while. Okay, a few more flashes. When you're defending B site, you can get in this corner, aim at this T, left click throw. That'll pop flash on the floor and apps, so it'll blind everyone in there but not blind any of your teammates defending. If you get here and just aim at the middle of this left pane, left click throw, that'll also flash on the bottom. They can dodge that one though because it's pretty slow. Here, if you move so that just the top of this green plant is visible and you aim at the center of the tarp, walking throw, that'll also pop here. And then if you're in this position, you can aim at this corner and right click throw. And that'll pop flash anybody that's running here, and they'll have very little time to dodge that. And you can get yourself a free kill or two. If you want to flash Underpass from Cat and get into this corner, aim where this plank meets this pipe, left click throw. That'll be a perfect pop flash for anybody pushing from under. Alright, 2 Cat flashes for supporting mid. When you're running up, you can literally just look at the sky in like the center of this mass here, above this red rug, and just running throw, release. That'll pop right up here, blinding anybody top mid. And then a more calculated one is you line up with the side of this door here. Doesn't need to be exact, but roughly, and aim at this corner, left click throw. That'll bank off that wall and just barely sneak out. So that'll pop flash anybody that's here or running up mid. And I believe it even gets Chair. Yep, if Chair's looking over there. I mean, they'll have lots of time to turn from it, but it's a decent one. So this one's kind of cool. If you think that the T's are setting up for an execute on B up in here, and you have control of mid, so you can safely do this, get onto this pillar here where the blue meets the white. Kind of line yourself up in the center of that. And then where this black window is, where it meets this lamp, you're going to go up just a little bit. And then you're going to go to the right so that your molly is going to bounce off of that bottom lip right there. If it does that, you're too far left. There we go. And that'll start burning out where everybody is standing when they're trying to do their execute smokes. You might not burn anybody alive, but you'll do some damage, and you can at least get some confirmation that there is somebody there. If you want to molly Chair from short, get in line with this right here, aim at the center of these square blocks, and jump throw. If you're defending B, a cheeky way to get some picks every game is to come up on the corner of these boxes. You can see apps from here, and then if you sneak over without falling off, you can see a part of Cat. You can see like right here up under that door. So if you sit here and you watch for anyone walking into get right, you can sometimes get a free kill that way. When you're defending B, sometimes it's a good idea to pop a molly here and then drop a smoke here. That'll act as kind of like a different scenario for the T's pushing out if they like pushing B a lot. Then you can play behind the smoke in jail here, and if anyone pushes through, you get a free kill on them. And also you can just control the angles as they push site better. And when they cross here, they'll have a lot of angles to clear, like bench here, here, a bunch of places to worry about. And if you're sitting in jail, you might get a nice shot on the side of their head. A couple of one-way smokes for window. You can stand in this corner and aim at this black dot, left click throw. This will give you a one-way on the left side of the window. Makes them makes you very difficult for them to see. Great for opping. And if they're starting to spam you on that side of the window, you can go to this side of the sawhorse and aim at this black dot. And this will give you a one-way on the right-hand side. Like so. Not as good, but it works. If you're pushing Underpass, you can flash the enemy or flash yourself around that corner. Around the time that you run past these pipes, you want to be staring directly at the ceiling and right-click throw. And that'll pop there and catch these guys off. Just be careful, sometimes those players know about it and they'll be playing anti-flash. If you're in CT and you want to go through Murder Hole, you can get in this corner of the bricks here, look at this black spot that's conveniently placed on the paint, run forward. That'll pop through, and you can swing this guy that's in jungle from there. Then if you're in window and you want to stop a rush that's coming down mid, you can run through and you'll see this black corner appear, aim at that, release. That'll pop next to Connector so your Connector teammate can keep peeking, and these guys running down mid will get blinded. For the Connector one-way, if you aim slightly above halfway and run throw, you get a few steps up. If you practice a little bit, you hit the sweet spot where the smoke is as high as possible with you still being able to see. If you're anchoring a site from CT, get in this corner. To smoke ramp, you aim between these two nubs and on this line of this board, and left click throw. That's a perfect smoke. And if you're a ninja and you want to smoke the same place, you go here and aim at the rightmost of these little roof supports. Simple. A players trying to support CT, or mid, sorry, can aim at this and running jump throw. That'll pop in mid. Okay, a couple more flashes. If you're in the stairs position, go to the 5th step, which is the second one after the sunlight. So right here. And you aim at the, there's kind of paint here and these speckles. Aim at this speckle right here, left click throw. It'll make kind of this shape here and it'll pop right there, so anybody looking at stairs will get blinded. It's a good self flash. If you're in CT, go up against the garbage can here, and there's this lip here. You want to aim not right in the middle of this lip, but kind of this way a bit more, kind of at this, there's kind of like two edges, the top and the bottom. Aim at the bottom, left click throw. That'll pop flash right over here, and that'll get even people that are standing behind triple. So that's a good little self flash from CT. If you're in CT, you can help your teammates defend site by lining up with this line here and the top of the satellite dish. Left click throw. Just know that this will blind your teammates that are in jungle, so be careful with that one. This one here, if you aim at the bottom of this antenna here, left click throw. This will not blind your teammates in jungle, but it doesn't get as much coverage if people are close to this wall attacking. Okay, 3 flashes from A. If you're in Ninja and they're rushing ramp, you aim, there's kind of these speckly dots here. You aim at the cross that's kind of formed above them. Left click throw. That'll perfectly plop in ramp, so anybody rushing will be full white and probably stop. If you line up in the middle of this box and you know somebody's coming up from Connector, you can line up at this corner here, left click throw. That'll pop in the center of that, stopping that guy from pushing. If you're underneath the balcony here, aim on the corner of this wood, run forward a little bit and release. That'll pop over like this so that anybody that's running out here will get blinded and you can swing and pick up a kill or 2. If you want a Molly default from CT, just aim at the bottom of this lamp with this box kind of aligned with this pillar. That'll pop on top and burn both sides of it and the top. Okay, a few mollies for retaking a site. If you're in jungle and you get in this corner, you can do ramp by aiming at the end of this stick. You can do Tetris by aiming halfway between this one and this one. And you can do Tetris by getting just below this this mark here and this like poop splotch. That'll contain the flame down there, so your guy on stairs can still peek. If you're on A site and you want to play for CT, you can get up on top of triple, but you have to find this notch that's right here in the corner of this diagonal piece of wood, and then you crouch jump, and that's how you get on there first try. Most of the mollies that I just showed you also work with nades, so like here, if you want to nade the opper that's watching market, just nade right here. Same goes for here. And they just have a little bit of a shorter range, so they might not make it all the way to the target on all of them. But places like under here works really well. And like this. That'll deal some pretty good damage to the guy that's sitting in here.